Welcome to Durga Pranayama, or what's classically or most commonly called three-part breath. In this video, I will start to talk a little bit about bandhas, so the locks of the body or the diaphragms of the body. In Hatha Yoga, we speak to three specifically: the throat lock, the belly lock, and the pelvic lock. The pelvic floor, which is a diaphragm, the diaphragm that we know and love at the abdominal, and the diaphragm at the throat. They're called Jalandhara Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Mula Bandha at the base of the body. These locks of the body permit the flow of energy, blood, lymph, pretty much everything. Our diaphragms are important to how we breathe, to how things circulate. We maybe don't think about it all that much, but they're instrumental in our survival, truly. And so in three-part breath, why I like to talk about the bandhas or the locks of the body is because we're starting to really think about what it means to fully expand into our potential for breath, right? And to fully release of the breath. So breath being that giving and taking process. So when we think about three-part breath, I find that it's really beneficial to imagine that your body is a vessel. We can fill it and we can empty it. Think about your pelvic floor as being at the bottom of this vessel, and Jalandhara, or the bandha or lock at the throat, as being the top of that vessel. Okay. And we talk about tidal volume. So tidal volume is the capacity for your lungs to expand and contract. The ability for your lungs to expand and contract is going to be contingent the flexibility of your diaphragm. It's interesting because when we look at studies nowadays, doctors, scientists, peeps are finding that a lot of heart conditions, heart disease, heart failure is a direct result of an immobile diaphragm. The survival of our species has a lot to do with the mobility of the pelvic diaphragm. And so when we breathe and we experience shape change in the body, this is what we're talking about, the movement of these locks or diaphragms of the body. You might think about them as like little trampolines. They're designed to both expand and contract. So in breathing, tidal volume, full lungs, empty lungs, we think about how big the lungs are and how much space they take up. When you inhale, your diaphragm, the abdominal, drops down to accommodate space for the lungs. The volume changes in your lungs. The volume doesn't change in your belly, right? But there's a lot of organs down here, right? Your diaphragm sits at the base of your lungs, the base of your heart, but it serves as the roof of your stomach, your liver, your intestines. It's all going on. So your belly kind of pooches out a little bit if you just let it when you inhale. When you inhale, so the lungs expand, the diaphragm drops to get out of the way, the organs move out of the way, so there's a little bit of shape change in the body, right? When you exhale, the diaphragm starts to lift back up, helping to support the deflation of the lungs. Your organs pull back up into place. Okay, so again, come back to that image of your body as a container or a vessel. Inhale, pulling the breath all the way down, and even think about expanding out into the belly, even bearing down a little bit into the pelvic floor, filling it up to the top. Exhaling, pulling in a little bit through your lower belly. Think about everything emptying out bottom to top. So again, think about inhaling, pulling it all the way down. Our bodies fill up. We're at that capacity. And then as we exhale, our bodies empty out. Oftentimes, as I'm teaching the bandhas or just teaching kind of the basic mechanics of breath, I'll advise students to kind of think about cat and cow. So inhaling into that cow form with the spine arched, and then finding that rounded spine in the cat, to start thinking about how the body is genuinely externally rotating every single bit of it to take breath in, internally rotating every single bit of it, to send the breath out. Okay. So the benefits of breathing in this way, enhancing energy, enhancing the amount of oxygen we're literally bringing into the body. This supports our lung capacity, that access for tidal volume again, the mobility of the pelvic floor, the abdominal diaphragm, and this little throat diaphragm, which we talked really briefly about in Ujjayi Pranayama. We created that slight restriction at the back of the throat to mirror the tone that was happening at the belly and the pelvic floor when the body was exhaling. When we inhale, again, we're not looking for bandha or lock engagement in any kind of way. We're looking to let the body open and expand, permitting it to do so. And then exhaling, maybe we support that little bit of drawing in. Breath retention, again, we'll talk about this in another video, but the only contraindication for this one is holding the breath, should we choose to bring that into the form. Now, again, we're not going to do that today. We're just going to practice 3-part breath together without retention. So the breath is going to continue to move in and out through the nose. So finding a nice, easy seat. And again, you might feel served here to place one hand onto the belly, maybe one hand onto the heart space. Again, seeing the body as a vessel. The body will fill up from the bottom to the top, and then it's going to empty from the bottom to the top. And so I'll cue that for you here. So when you're ready, let's empty the lungs so we can get ready to prepare. On an inhale, fill your body up, imagining that you're filling from the bottom all the way up to the top. Exhaling, navel pulls in towards spine, belly pulls in, chest gently drops. And again, you can over exaggerate this if you want. Inhale, fill down toward the pelvic floor. Low ribs expand. Chest lifts. Exhale, belly pulls in. Low ribs, floating ribs pull in. Chest relaxes. How about 2 more? Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Thank you.